you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? Like a gun or anything?
I don't have no weapon. I don't even have a gun.
Okay.
I'm 19 years old. I ain't something talking about. If this is don't talk about, then the truck's over there.
This is a 19-year-old man caught impersonating a deputy and conducting illegal traffic stops. On January 1st, 2023, the Choctaw Police Department got a complaint of a strange man driving an unmarked car and claiming to be a sheriff. According to the report, the individual stopped at least 2 vehicles in the Choctaw area while dressed in full police uniform, including a duty belt and a ballistic vest. Deputies from the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office were called to investigate the situation and identify the culprit after a series of complaints. Soon later, 2 police approached the car as part of their investigation.
Problems, and the truck's over there. I'm just gonna take out the vest, and I'm from Tennessee. So,
why are you wearing the vest?
Like I said, I drove from all the way from Tennessee, but I'm not gonna have people call me when I don't even live in the damn state.
Okay.
Like, it's gonna piss me off.
You're a deputy sheriff?
Well, I mean, I work at the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So, I mean, what?
Were you a corrections officer for
Yeah.
the sheriff's office? Okay. Why do you wear a vest outside of the facility? Is this an agency vehicle, or is this your personal vehicle?
This is my Kia.
Body camera evidence indicated that the cops who first saw Jones were rightly perplexed and distrustful, as off-duty law enforcement officials wearing uniforms in public is unusual. The guidelines for employee personnel appearance, as stated on the official government website of Oklahoma City, do not specifically prohibit cops from wearing uniforms when not on duty. However, it can be suggested based on the standards for appropriate badge display, which indicate that badges should not be prominently shown while the employee is off-duty. It seems obvious that wearing a uniform as an off-duty police officer would be discouraged as well. Jones was questioned for verification of his claim to be a sheriff, and he falsely stated that his department did not give any documents to validate his position.
I understand that. I don't understand what's going on.
And you got alcohol in the vehicle.
Well, it's not mine.
Well, that's beside the point.
It's my girlfriend's. And I don't drink, so...
Well, it doesn't matter. You realize transporting open container, if any of that's opened or partially missing, that it doesn't matter whose it is. If you're in the vehicle with it, you can be arrested for transporting open container.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's not. I literally, it's not mine, man. She bought it. She lives up there in Luther.
Have you ever heard the phrase of when guys get hemmed up for drugs in their pockets and they say these pants aren't mine? You realize how stupid that is. Okay.
But
so let's stop saying it, all right?
I understand. I'm not trying to cause any problem. I want to go on my way.
The cop was watching what was going on when he saw an open bottle of alcohol in Mr. Jones's car. When this was brought to Mr. Jones's attention, he said it wasn't his, but the officer said it didn't matter who owned the alcohol because Mr. Jones would be charged with an open container violation if it was found in his car. After this conversation, the officer was worried about the sheriff's patch on Mr. Jones's bulletproof vest. He stressed that Mr. Jones was neither a sheriff nor had the power to make arrests. Also, the officer said that their drinking habits didn't matter, and he emphasized that carrying an open bottle, no matter who owned it, could get them arrested if it was found in their car.
So did you get out of your car or something here in the parking lot?
Okay, I got out of the car. There's a truck that he looked at me. And that's all I did. I never said anything like law enforcement wise or nothing. He looked at me and he was laughing, so I just go to his car and I was like, "Did you eat me or something like that?" That's it, and I just walked away.
Okay.
The second cop on the scene asked Mr. Jones about the person who was said to be in a truck that Mr. Jones had stopped a few minutes earlier. This person would later be very important to the way things turned out. Mr. Jones said that the person had been looking at him, so he went up to the person and asked what was going on. It's important to note that Mr. Jones's version of what happened was very different from what the department heard, which was that Mr. Jones had pulled people over with bright lights.
See if he'll give us a contact number for a supervisor at work or something. I'm going to shut this other door.
I wouldn't worry about the jail thing right now.
I really don't want you to jail. With the beer part, like I said, that it's not in my possession, right?
It is in your possession. It's in your car.
By you owning the vehicle, it being in your vehicle, and it sitting beside you, that is considered possession. I understand that.
And I've got
I'm going to try. We'll try to work with you.
I know.
Mr. Jones gave the cop permission to search his car and said that he didn't have any problems with it. As a protection for the safety of the cops involved, the officer asked Mr. Jones to get out of his car and take off his ballistic vest. After this request, Mr. Jones was put in the back of a police car while the two officers who were already there looked into what was going on.
All right, tell me exactly what you just said.
Because he was dressed like a cop.
Yeah.
He had a sheriff thing, but it had sheriff written on the side of it.
Right.
And I live on 62 off of Adam Road. He was sitting in a driveway
251.
right beside 62 Highway. And I pulled up and I was staring at him because he was in there kind of cockeyed.
As the officers continued their investigation, the subject who had initially made the 911 call pulled over in close proximity to them. They engaged in a conversation with the officers, and the entire interaction was recorded on their body cameras. It is worth highlighting that the sequence of events recounted by Mr. Jones differed significantly from the story provided by the subject.
Yeah, I already know I'm going to jail.
All right. Turn around and face the other way. Put your hand behind your back. You're under arrest for impersonating law enforcement, all right? And then you also have a charge for transporting an open container.
Oh, my girlfriend could pick up my phone.
Not at this time.
You know how long I'm gonna be in jail because I'm from PC.
Okay.
Based on what the subject had said up to this point, it was clear that Mr. Jones had been pretending to be a police officer and had committed a major crime. The police now had a lot of proof that these claims were true. So the officers did what they needed to do and arrested Mr. Jones for the crime of pretending to be a law enforcement officer. They also told Mr. Jones that he would be charged for having an open container on him. Now, let's move on to the next story.
Oh, Mike.
Good, how y'all doing?
Yeah, she was the driver. He was in the pickup truck. It's all the same.
Not hurt or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Did your license, registration, insurance?
That's it.
155 Berkeley, 28 West Virginia. Ocean 9 V Victor 311. Ocean 9 V Victor 311. Split on a silver in color Lexus. Oh. That's silver or tan?
Silver.
Okay. I was going crazy for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm good if y'all.
You're good. We're good, man.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, shut one.
Hey, thanks too. How y'all relate to each other?
We're just friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm actually driving that truck right there.
On January 6, 2023, Deputy William Henderson from the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office was sent to a traffic accident. A woman named Carrie Harmon was driving when she hit a low stone wall and used a concrete block to knock over 3 fence posts, a mailbox, and a bush. As seen on video from Deputy Henderson's body camera, the Berkeley Fire Department was the first to arrive at the scene. Even though Miss Harmon didn't seem hurt, she slurred her words and moved slowly. This wasn't a big deal at the time, but it continued throughout the meeting, as we'll see.
Greatest emergency seeking of, however, we did not locate her name attached to any of the cats.
Form 14, 137, you make contact
Still, Deputy Henderson asked Miss Harmon if she had a favorite tow truck company. She said that her father, Nathan Harmon, would take care of the problem. Nathan Harmon is a Berkeley County sheriff, which suggests that Miss Harmon may be depending on her father's power and influence to stay out of trouble. We'll talk about this a little more later. Then Deputy Henderson went to his police car to check Miss Harmon's pass through dispatch. After being inside for a few minutes, he came out and gave her a sheet asking for a written statement about the traffic accident. One thing that stands out about this situation is how unconcerned Deputy Henderson seems to be about the traffic accident. He did not directly ask about the details of what happened, nor did he look into the situation fully. Even though Miss Harmon showed signs that she might have been drunk, no one thought anything of it.
Is your neighbor's home, you think? Or?
I think she's home. She's a nurse.
Okay.
I went over there after I got phone 911.
Okay.
Knocking on the door and ringing her doorbell. But I haven't gotten an answer. She's a nurse, I think, in Winchester.
Okay.
So I don't know if she's...
Yeah, I just gotta leave her some information, that's all. So I just I see the vehicle, but
Yeah, that's the one she regularly drives.
Okay, thank you.
At this point, Deputy Henderson went to the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office and got a digital camera. Officers often use these cameras to take pictures of accident scenes to go along with the written accounts from patients or witnesses. Deputy Henderson did a good job with many of his duties, but he forgot to find out if Miss Harmon was at fault for the accident or if she was drunk, which were both important parts of the investigation. Continuing with the incident, Deputy Henderson walked up to Miss Harmon's car as she was finishing her written statement. The two talked briefly about what happened. During this talk, Miss Harmon made a claim that a deer might have been involved. She said she either veered into the wall while trying to miss the deer or hit the deer on the right side of her car.
This should have hit me. I'm telling you. For it to look like that, it's gotta hit me. I saw them up on the right-hand side, and I'm like, oh no. It's either swerve or you hit it.
Oh, man. Feel like stuff because you got open shoes on. Now, can you sign that down the bottom for me?
What's that?
I just need you to sign it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you just put a date on there.
I got you.
When Miss Harmon used her broken windshield to back up her story, Deputy Henderson quickly shined his flashlight on it, but he didn't see any signs that a deer had hit the car. This made people wonder how a deer could have gotten away from the accident without getting hurt or leaving any blood. Deputy Henderson seemed to have the same doubts when he stopped for a moment to look at the window, but he decided not to ask Miss Harmon any more questions about her questionable claim. Instead, he looked around the car and made some notes. At this point, Sheriff Harmon showed up, and things started to get strange and hard to believe. Sheriff Harmon tells Deputy Henderson that there is something he needs to look at inside Miss Harmon's car. Without saying anything, Deputy Henderson gives Sheriff Harmon his lantern and lets him come up to the car and get in. South Carolina law says that what Sheriff Harmon did could be considered messing with evidence, which is a very bad thing to do. To make matters worse, Sheriff Harmon asked Deputy Henderson if his daughter was inebriated, to which Deputy Henderson reacted with laughter, indicating that it did not appear so. Subsequently, Miss Harmon's vehicle was towed away and the scene was cleared. The investigation concluded that Miss Harmon had failed to exercise caution while negotiating a turn, and she received a warning for her careless driving. However, the situation took a concerning turn when portions of a Snapchat video shared on Facebook showed Miss Harmon expressing gratitude for her father's presence at the scene, implying that Sheriff Harmon may have intervened in the investigation to protect his daughter from the consequences of driving under the influence. In response to these suspicions, Sheriff Harmon issued a statement a few days later, claiming that he responded to the scene purely to ensure his daughter's well-being and denying any interference or direction given to the investigating officer. The official report released by Deputy Henderson did not indicate any suspicions of drug or alcohol use, and Ms. Harmon's driver condition was deemed normal without any effort to confirm her fitness to drive. Notably, the report did not support Ms. Harmon's claims of a deer strike, contradicting her written statement that she was following a car when she was hit by a deer on her right passenger side. And now comes our third story. In this story, a group of children in Lorain, Ohio were subjected to police harassment on the excuse of jaywalking. However, further investigations proved that the event was staged by the police officers involved. On February 15, 2023, a 16-year-old kid and his cousin, and a friend, crossed West 27th Street and made their way to the boys' residence. An unmarked police car containing a Lorain police officer and an agent from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives drew up to the scene, according to surveillance video from the family security camera. The cops attempted to converse with the lads, but they already were inside the residence and the officers were unable to make contact. Mary Hildreth, the 16-year-old's mother, watched the incident from the front door and approached the cops to inquire about the issue. Notably, the kid showed no symptoms of escaping the cops, instead quietly entering the house when the car arrived. This particular element becomes important as the situation progresses. The cameras get a clear picture of the cops coming and of Miss Hildreth's first talk with one of them. The video makes it clear that Miss Hildreth asked the cops what was worrying them, and they told her to bring the boys outside so they could talk.
I'm still in the window as he's halfway through the yard coming in here. This car flies up out of nowhere. Don't say nothing. As I'm already down here, they're jumping out, getting ready to run around the house. I come to the door and say, what's going on? We want the boys to run out. I said, my son, what's the problem? He's a minor. We got to talk to him. I said, what is the problem? It's a traffic violation. I said, what do you mean? Can I have your name back? Then he's screaming and yelling. I said, you don't have to scream and yell at me. I'm an adult. That is my son. What did he do wrong?
After conversing with the officers on the scene, the supervisor returned to Miss Hildreth, exposing the dishonesty of the officers. Initially, they had claimed to stop the boys for a minor jaywalking violation, but now the supervisor implied that their true motive was suspicion of firearms due to the boys playing with their waistbands. The surveillance footage ended, and the verbal exchange between the supervisor and Miss Hildreth continued. It became evident that the officers realized their mistake and hastily fled the scene in their patrol vehicles without issuing any jaywalking tickets. This incident revealed that the officers simply wanted to harass the boys using the guise of neighborhood safety. Sadly, Miss Hildreth was unjustly charged with obstructing official business, a charge she vowed to fight in court. The video shows cops recording a residential street. But what is going on here, and why is the officer recording everything? Stay tuned to find out. Later, it was revealed that the video showed undercover cops correcting pedestrian offenses and investigating a case. James McLennis, who operates the Pinellas County Sheriff's Channel, provided the content. The interaction involved several deputies from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office parked on a residential street while conducting an investigation near a nearby residence.
Just all the undercover police cars. Police sheriffs at this house. Undercover.
I don't know, take a video of
And-
that like that.
And this one here does not look like a police vehicle.
McLennis begins recording the interaction as he walks in the middle of the street, arguing that there are no sidewalks and that the officers have blocked the side of the road. He further tells an officer that engaging in the act of recording a video in this situation falls under the protection of the First Amendment, as it is considered a constitutionally protected activity.
Hey, sir. You know what else has that?
ID on you?
I don't need ID.
Yes, you do need ID.
No, I don't need ID.
If you're coming into the middle of our investigation, you do.
Actually, this is the middle of the street, and I'm
And
walking
you're
on a
not
public
supposed
street.
to be in the middle of the street, so that's a violation.
Actually, there's no sidewalks here, so it's not.
You cannot be in the middle of the street.
Well, you notice you're blocking the way on the side of the street.
All right, let me get a pad. You have ID at all?
During the encounter, McLennis asserts that he's not required to provide identification to the officers. However, the officers argue that since he is intervening in the middle of their investigation, he must provide identification. McLennis counters their claim by stating he's simply walking along a public street, which lacks sidewalks. He points out that he's not obstructing traffic since there is ample space on the side of the street.
I don't have to show ID. I have not committed a crime.
Did you drive here?
No.
But you have to ID who you are.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Under Florida statutes, we're not an ID upon demand state.
McLennis maintains that he is not obligated to present ID since he's not committed any crime. However, the officer insists that McLennis must provide identification, even questioning if he drove to the location. McLennis continues to assert his position, stating he is not legally required to provide identification, citing that Florida statutes do not classify the state as an ID upon demand jurisdiction.
Am I being detained?
Hey, are you writing him a ticket?
No, no.
You do understand when there's not a sidewalk, there's a certain direction that you need to ride. You need to walk on the street, right? You can't just walk down the middle.
Well, when you have all the cars blocking the side of the road, it makes it kind of difficult.
Okay, well, guess what, Perry Mason? Since you're so good on the
Are you a police officer?
As another officer joins the conversation, they inquire whether McLennis intends to issue a ticket. They then explain that when there's no sidewalk available, there is a specific direction for pedestrians to walk onto the street, emphasizing that walking in the middle is not permissible. McLennis responds by highlighting the challenge of following the designated walking direction when all the cars are blocking the side of the road.
You're so good on the
Are you a police officer? I'm asking you to identify yourself.
Excuse me?
I'm asking you to identify yourself. Are you a police officer?
Yes, I am.
Can you please give me your name and badge number?
No.
Are you refusing to identify yourself?
What, is there a Florida state statute that says I must?
I think it's are you a Pinellas County Sheriff?
Yes, I am.
McClinnis requests the officer to identify themselves by providing their name and badge number. The officer declines to comply with the request. McClinnis then questions whether the officer is refusing to identify themselves and asks if there's a Florida state statute that mandates such identification. The officer suggests that it is likely the case, but McClinnis inquires specifically about the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office policy regarding citizen requests for officer identification. The officer does not provide a clear response.
How am I supposed to file a complaint against you?
Okay. What do you want to file a complaint for? Because if you want it, I'll give it to you.
I do want it. I've asked for it.
But let me finish my train of thought first before you interrupt me with all your Perry Mason stuff.
McClinnis continues to express his frustration and asks the officer how he's supposed to file a complaint if needed. The officer responds by asking for clarification on the reason for the complaint. The officer then asks McClinnis if he understands that there is a Florida state statute prohibiting walking in the middle of the road, seeking a simple yes or no answer to his question. As the two other officers join the conversation, they question McClinnis' statement that they are not blocking the road. McClinnis responds by reiterating that the officers are obstructing the pathway on the side of the road.
How are we blocking you?
Exactly.
You are blocking the pathway on the side of the road. This is the intimidation that the Pinellas County Sheriff's try and use if you exercise your First Amendment activity. They surround you, accuse you of crimes, refuse to identify themselves, intimidate yourself. Why aren't you continuing with your investigation? Why are you out here bothering me?
He suggests that this behavior is an attempt by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office to intimidate individuals who exercise their First Amendment rights. McClinnis further asserts that the officers surround individuals, accuse them of crimes, and refuse to identify themselves, creating an environment of intimidation.
Here, it's not a pedestrian violation, but nice try.
You're right. You're the expert. You know, I've only spent 20 years doing this job. You're the expert, though, right?
After 20 years, you still think it's necessary?
After
20 years, you think it's actually necessary to come out in the street and bother people who are walking by?
You can't walk in the middle of the road.
And when you have the street blocked, the side of the road blocked.
Street's not blocked.
You have the side of the road blocked.
Street's not blocked.
Sir.
Yeah.
Shine your phone that way, because I want to make sure that you see this as well, that this is on video.
Yeah, I'll shine the phone.
So from here, all the way through, past the area that you actually walk through.
McClinnis questions why the officers are bothering him instead of continuing with their investigation. He asserts he was simply walking with his camera in front of him and questions if the officers have an issue with that.
See this as well, that this is on video.
Yeah, I'll shine the phone.
So from here, all the way through, past the area that you actually walk through, the street is not blocked.
This side of the street is
vehicles are on the
blocked.
curb, but you actually walk. So how is that actually blocking
This side of the street
streets?
is blocked.
Okay.
McClinnis argues there was no civil infraction committed on his part, emphasizing that walking in the middle of the road is not a pedestrian violation when the side of the road is blocked and there are no sidewalks available.
By walking down the middle of the street and conducting a First Amendment activity.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
I didn't want to talk to any of you in the first place.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You can leave now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The officer sarcastically remarks that McClinnis must be the expert, despite their 20 years of experience on the job. McClinnis responds by pointing out that even after 20 years, the officer still believes it is necessary to come out onto the street and bother people who are merely walking by. As another officer approaches McClinnis, they ask him to shine his phone in a particular direction to show him that the street's not blocked beyond the area where he walked. The officer argues that since McClinnis walked on the curb, it did not hinder the side of the street. McClinnis reiterates there are no sidewalks available, emphasizing the lack of an alternative path. The officer responds by stating McClinnis is impeding their ongoing investigation.
I still can't walk down this side of the street.
Asked you and told you to leave. Leave now.
So I have to leave the street.
Leave this investigation right now.
So where is the investigation? Where's the blue line? Is it over here? Is it over here? Is it over here? Is she impeding the investigation too? I'm just curious.
McClinnis insists he still cannot walk on the side of the street. He questions the whereabouts of the investigation and sarcastically asks if the blue line indicating police presence extends to different areas. The implication is that the officers are unnecessarily impeding his right to walk freely. Mr. McClinnis continues to videotape the police vehicles as he carefully left the location, having no further problems. He then attempted to register complaints against the deputies involved. Mr. McClinnis started the process by requesting public documents to find out who the deputies were. Unfortunately, his request was refused, and the needed information was not given to him.